Hi, this is Sun Yong, your option trading specialist and a coach and a mentor for your positive mindset. Today, I wanted to kind of talk about the very, very sweet profits that I have made. I have to look over my journal here really quickly. So McDonald, which is the abbreviation for McDonald, is MCD. And I will type this up in here, MCD. Okay, McDonald's. I set this up, options, yesterday, and it's supposed to be 18 days long. That's when it expires, 18 days, which is August 12th. And I ended up closing it out in 3.5 hours and made $4,970. So I will use my calculator here, and we will be adding that $4,970 plus another one is Wayfair, which is the symbol W. And I made $3,700 in 1 hour. So I'm going to be adding 3,700. Should be about 8,670. So 1 hour on that Wayfair for 3,700, and McDonald's 3.5 hours made 4,970. So you add up both those hours, which is 4.5 hours, and adding both profit is 8,670. Now, where can you get paid that kind of money without like a 8 to 12-year degree? Like, I don't have a doctor's degree or PhD, anything like that. Yet, as an entrepreneur, our wages unlimited. Like, there's no limit. You can make as much as you want. It all depends on what you do. Now, options, I have never heard about it in my life. Never. I always hear my doctor or other people buying and selling stocks, but nobody talked about options trading. Yet they've been around for a long time. They've been around about 50 years or so, which I found that is really shocking to me, because if it's been around that long, how come nobody talks about it? Maybe they just think that it's too hard to set up your options. Maybe they just assume, do a simple way, buy stocks by clicking here, selling stocks by clicking here. But to set up options, you have to choose a strike prices and things like that. Now, going back to my profit from the two companies, McDonald's and a Wayfair, 4.5 hours total. Now, if I was to divide this, $8,670 divided by 4.5 hours, 4.5, it should be somewhere around about 1,926. Yes, $1,926.66 an hour. Now, how long did it took me to make $8,670? Not 4.5 hours where I had to work physically or drive to go somewhere or had to go out of town, go to another state or another country to make that kind of money. I did this right at home, comfort of my own home, in my office, right in this chair, and just using two of my fingers, just click, click. And guess how long it took me? Only 2 minutes. 2 minutes to make $8,670. Although when we added those hours, when I closed my trades, 4.5 hours, 1 hour on the, Wayfair, and 3.5 hours on McDonald's. So even if I was just work like 4.5 hours, that's really good money to make $8,670. And yet it didn't even take me 5 minutes. It only took me a couple of minutes. So you have to look at the value, not only it's a lot of money, but I didn't have to go to school for, 8 to 10 years or 12 years. But I did pay for a lot of expenses to become an entrepreneur. I had to pay for my option trading class. I had to pay for, so many different XYZ. Like, I'm an author of 2 books, and I had to pay for my books to be published with the book publishing company. So nothing is free, everything costs. So when you spend money on your coach to learn certain skills and a knowledge, it's like you're paying for college. Now, my class, obviously, there's a cost involved, but it's worth it because I'm teaching my clients the strategies that I have created way back in 2016. I learned it in 2014, and I was still working for a corporate world. So I really couldn't get into it because the time the market is open, I had to be at work. I had to be at work at 6 in the morning and got off at 4. And the market opened at 7:30 to 2 o'clock where I live. So even though I learned I can really do a whole lot, and I thought I'll take a look at it during my lunch and perhaps my only day off. But then my only day off, I ended up working another job. I did a catering business for a couple of years to supplement my income because I was struggling as a single mother to raise 3 girls at that time. And I did that for about 2 or 3 years. And then after that, I thought, oh, well, maybe I want to spend extra time with my son later on. So I ended up doing a detail house cleaning, which that meant that I didn't have to get up at 2 in the morning and start, cutting up fresh meat and vegetables and things like that and roll my egg rolls. But just switching to cleaning, I just had to grab my cleaning supplies, including my vacuum, or sometimes, a lot of times they have their own vacuum that I could use. So I would just did that on my only day off. And I was still struggling, living paycheck to paycheck and hard time paying my bills. So the life that I lived, which I did exactly what I was told, study hard, get a scholarship, and go to school, get a good paying job, and pay your bills on time and save. Well, I didn't have any extra money to save. Not at all. Not even had money to go on vacations, things like that. So for me to be sitting here and just kind of taking back and just realizing I've come a long ways. But then I went to places where there was an opportunity. I didn't just sit and say, poor me, I don't make enough money and I don't know what to do. And I don't dare to go on vacations because I don't have any money. And if I did go on a vacation, I would have to come back and work twice as hard or overtime just to put money back that I spent on a vacation. So it was just vicious cycle. So I'm here to tell you how, I don't know, it just changed my life, changed my world, the way I do my businesses. Just Friday, we were able to withdraw like $25,000. And, when you make about $40,000 a week or more, you could do that. And just today, I made $25,500 just within about, 4 or 5 companies. And you have heard, yes, it sounds too good to be true. That's what I thought. That's what I told myself. But then, you know what? It is real for me. This is a real game changer for me to do the option trading. And it's not just any old option trading. I learned the basics from school, which I paid money to. But then to study it, disciplining myself, learning it whole year, going through growing pains, learning pains here and there, and trying to come up with the best strategies that I could implement to make me money. Because to me, making money is like you're creating, gathering tools. Because to me, money is like a tool. Because when I have more tool, the more I could do. In other words, if I have more money, then I could hire people to do some of the things that I don't like to do so much with my business, which is, doing social media and things like that. But then being able to do what I could do, because it's like this with all jobs. When I was working for the corporate world, I loved my job, but not all of it, not every aspect of job that I love, just certain parts. Like I love talking to patients, taking care of them, giving them shots, drawing their blood, taking their vital signs, all that, talking to them, listening to their stories, and also assisting a doctor when he does surgeries. I'm right there next to him as he sutures, like doing surgeries and whatnot, and I cut sutures right behind him. Or patients come back after the surgery and I remove their sutures. I love it. I love all that. But I really didn't like charting. But yet it's so important to chart. It's so important to document everything that we do, what shots we gave to certain patients for what problems, and when did it expire, what size of gauge of needle that did you use. Everything has to be documented. So, here we are in option trading. I have no idea that I have to journal. No idea. I thought, I'll just use my platforms and I'm fine. And I'll just do it that way. But when you journal it, you use it as helping tools for you to look back, and you could use it like from the day before, things like that. Journaling is very, very important, just like documenting what you did at work. In case of some issues come up, you could also look back and you document it. And here, journaling, like if you made, like let's say there's one day since I've been doing option trading, one day in about 3 hours, I made $50,000. I couldn't believe it. Not 5,000, $50,000. And I remember so excited about it. And I text my husband because he was still working. He was working for government. He wanted to get the full benefit of retirement. He's been working for about 33, 34 years. And he only had 1 more year to work. So no, 2 years, because I retired in 2015 and started doing this full time as an option trader 2016. And he retired in 2017. So 2 years after I retired. But I remember it used to be he was making more money than me. And out of 2 of us, if we needed some extra money for vacations and things like that, we would just have him work overtime because he was making $25, $26 an hour. And I was only making like $16 an hour. So it was just a no-brainer. But then when I started doing option trading and I was making so much money, and I texted him, I said, guess what? You won't believe this. I made like $50,000 in 3 hours. And he's like, no way. But because I was able to take a journal and I was able to show him that. And so then I was repeating what made me money. And same time, if I lost money by journaling it, I could look back and say, oh, I don't want to repeat what I just did for losing certain amount of money. So journaling is very, very important. Now, I want to go back to McDonald company and why I closed it out, like 3.5 hours later, instead of waiting until 18 days when it's supposed to expire. So let's go back here to McDonald's. I already pulled that up. I already pulled that up there. Look at the chart. Now, this particular chart was, I set up trade, okay, which is call. My current market, when I went into that trade yesterday, was 249.51. So if we were to look at this 249.51, okay, let's look at the 5 days. So let's just look at a one chart at a time so it's not so confusing. Down here, let's change to 5 day, 5 minutes, or 5 day, 15-minute movements right there. Okay. So yesterday, when I set this chart on options on McDonald, my current market was 249.51. So 249.51. So let's find that. 249.51. 249.51, somewhere in here. Okay. So look at the numbers on the right side, which is probably the left side of you, but it's my right side. Gray, it says 249.54. If I was to move that right there, 249.54, I'm going to do 249.51. So I set this up, okay, right there, 249.52, close enough. Now, because I set this up trade, look at how much it moved. Look at that. 259.22 is the highest within 5 day movement. But again, today's Tuesday right here, right? And we want to make sure this was yesterday, Monday, and today's Tuesday. So 249.51 was somewhere in there, and it went up. If we were to be really technical about it, let's just do like a 1 day movement then, because this is 5 day movement. Today's already closed. It won't show me 249.51. It won't show. So I have to go back to 5 day movement there. Okay. So you could see just in general how much it has moved, from 249.51. I did that 249.51 to right there. Close enough. Anyway, 249.51.54 right there. And all the way up here. So when I closed it out, guess what? 255.61. So I closed it out at 255.61, somewhere in here. 255.61 right there. Look at the movement, how much movement there was. 255.61. So right there, 255.60. Okay. I closed it. Now, if I would have kept on and I could have made more money. But why did I not? Well, so many times where market goes up and then it just drops down suddenly, and I didn't want to lose that money of $4,970. So I was really grateful and so glad that I made that kind of money, almost 5,000 in 3.5 hours. So being a greedy, it's like I'm going to leave it, which I have done in the past. And because I didn't know when to close or how to set up my pre-closing order at the exact number, I would my market would have gone up and it came down and I would have probably lost. But that's not the case here. So I could have made more money, but I was okay. I was feeling really good about making almost 5,000 in 3.5 hours. So a lot of times we have to look at the chart. Like this is probably like a bad example of why I closed it, because obviously this market went way up, but I predicted correct. I thought the market's going to go up, and it did way above and beyond, higher than I ever expected. And that's the reason why I ended up closing at 255.61 right there. But it went up and above. It happens once in a while. That's fine. Now let's go look at the Wayfair. Wayfair, I ended up making 3,700 in 1 hour. So this was, let's see. Okay, this was a down trade. I did a put. So by looking at my journal, I could actually tell you what the current market was when I set this up. Yeah, so this was a down trade. So 49.35. So I'm going to find 49.35 right there. Okay, somewhere in there. And now again, this is 5-day, 15-minute movement. So 49.35, it was that. And then I predicted it that it's going to move down anyway in 49 to 45. So if I was to look at, 45.32. So I closed it out at 45.32 right there. So 49.35 to 45.32, somewhere in there. 45.32. So right there, see that? I prediction that it's going to go down, and it was right. It went exactly what I predicted for market to do. So you have to know, is it going to go down or it's going to go up? How do you know that? I have a specific secret that how I look at my charts. I mean, yeah, you could look at it, right in here. It's oh yeah, it was high and then coming down, obviously. But what about McDonald? McDonald was more crazy chart. If we were to go back to McDonald's here, and when or how can you, get in and out of the trade? Okay. So in other words, if we were to do this, and I'm going to show you McDonald. Okay. We're, like I said, we have to do a 5-day chart, but then here's a Monday down here, and then here's a Tuesday. So if I was to draw a line of, I'm going to use this pen here, again, making money with the tool, the money, I was able to buy another special tool to use it on my study here. So I'm going to go into annotate here, and I'm going to go right in here. Now, so it was yesterday, so I'm going to draw a line on Monday, okay, right in here, Monday. This is kind of cool. It could go like that. Okay, just kind of there. So that's Monday. Okay, went over to a Tuesday a little bit. Anyway, let me just go ahead and clear this. Okay, there we go. So if I was to change this color to blue, now I'm going to go back to drawing here. Okay, now that's my Monday. Now, what was my current market when I went into that trade? It was 249.51. So 249.51, I'm going to find that again. Right there, see on the side here, 249, 250, 249.51, somewhere in the middle. So I would just draw a line, and I'll just change the color here, yellow. So somewhere in here on Monday, okay, maybe it's a little higher than 249.51. To 49.51. So right there. Okay. So I went into trade at 249.51 there. And then because I predicted it that it's going to go up, so I ended up closing at 255.61. 255 is right there. So 51, somewhere in there. Okay. So basically what I did is I bought my options here. So I could actually text here. Okay. I sold right in here. Okay. So basically, I looked at the chart and said, okay, I think I'm going to go in when the market is down. I set up my option trading and I ended up setting my options, which means I bought my, my options here. And then when it went up to 255.51, I ended up selling it, which means I got out of it. So in 3.5 hours, there was this kind of movement there. Wow. So you take 249.51, right? So 255.51 minus 249.51. There, just in 3 hours, you guys. Wow, there is a $4 difference. That's so crazy. 249 and 49, 249 and 255, 249.55. So 255 minus 255.61 minus 249.51 would be 0.1. Yeah. $4 movement in 3.5 hours. That's how you make good money. Okay. Let's go ahead and raise all my clear drawings here. There we go. So you could either raise one drawing at a time, which means you just take a razor and just touch it, or you could just clear the whole thing. Okay. Now, if we were to look at the Wayfair, okay, so let's go to a Wayfair here. X out. Okay. And then we'll put in W for Wayfair. Okay. Now, this is also 5-day, 50-minute movement. So we find ourselves Monday right here below. It says Monday, Tuesday. So on that 1 hour, I close it in 1 hour. So 46.44 is when I got into that trade. So 44.66. So here's 45, 47. So somewhere 44.66 was way for 49.35. No, yeah, 49.35. So somewhere in here. So if I was to take again the same, similar situations here, I want to, there we go. You have to go a certain area to do the annotation here. So 49.35. So 49.35. So I'm going to find my pen. So here's 49. So 49.35, somewhere in there. Okay. 49.35. So a little less than a half right there. Okay. So I predicted it that this Wayfair is going to go down. So I want to raise that just because it's a little crooked. Okay. So I'll do it again. 49.35. So here's 49. Here's 50. So little above the 49.35 right there. 49.35. And I predicted it, this market's gonna go down. So which is exactly what I did. So when I closed it, looking at my closing market was 46.40. So 46.40, it was way down in here. So that's 45.93, 46.40. So we have to go 46.30 somewhere in here. And we have to go all the way to Monday. So I ended up setting up my option trading for down trade when it was about 49.35 somewhere in here, and then I turned around and sold it. So I bought my options here, and then I turned around when the market went down, just like I predicted it that it would go down. So I did that, and I ended up closing my option trading, which means I sold my options 46.40 somewhere in here. So this is huge. Knowing exactly how you want to set up your trade and where you want to get in and out. is important, because anybody could do this. Once you learn the basics, anybody could do, like, yeah, I could do this and that. That's exactly what I did by studying it. So how many of you guys, if I said, if you could discipline yourself and within 1 to 5 years or less than 5 years, you could become a millionaire doing option trading? I don't know if any of you guys believe that, because you don't know. You have never made it like that. You have never, like, I never knew I could do that because I have never heard about option trading. But I'm here to tell you it's living proof, and I'm still doing it. I'm always doing better way to do option trading. Just like you don't want to go to the doctor when they're using exactly same medications, same procedures from 30, 40 years ago. They need to keep up with what's going on in the world, right? So I do this, and I keep up with how I used to only just know how to make money just going up trade, with options. I thought, you know what, that's pretty good, because usually the stocks, you make money when the market goes up, but to be able to make money doing, up trade, setting up up trade, make money with the options, I thought that was pretty cool. But when I was using the strategies 2017 to started using my real account, and my goal was to make $100,000, and I actually made $187,000. $187,000, you guys, my first year. So I was like, oh my gosh, it's so shocking, and I can't believe I could do that, especially when I'm not a computer savvy. I don't know how to use computers, but I learned, because to me, I wanted to make money, to do so many different things in my life, go on vacations, use it for businesses, and so many different reasons why I do. So with that, and then when 2018 came, and I thought, since I made so much money, 2017, I'll do exactly what I did in 2017 to make money. So first couple of months, I did it. And by end of, 2 months or so, or a month and a half to 2 months, I wasn't doing too good. And I thought, wait a minute. I said, why is this, the same strategies that I used in 2017, why is not working on 2018? I don't understand. Well, because the market is different. Every year is different, right? You don't always have a same market every single year. Just like you're not the same as last year. We change, we become a better version of ourselves, hopefully anyway. So I have to study another type of strategy. And I started implementing that in 2018. And now I'm able to, make money even down trade, not only up trades, but down trades. So now I feel very comfortable about 99%, 100% really, both up or down trade, that I can make money. So, when you learn things, you want to learn from somebody who does that, not just learn it and never use the skills, but they do it to make their own money. And so I hope that you have gained great knowledge by watching my video. And you could always follow me. I'm on the live streaming on the YouTube, and I have many, many channels out there. I try to put out a good content for hopefully that you guys could learn. If you're a beginner, I have some videos that how you could set up your account. And if you're immediate or intermediate or advanced, I have strategies to advance what I do now for my own money making. So we will see you guys on next video. Thanks for watching.